So after several years of freelancing and building a successful agency, I've come to realize the importance of choosing the right clients and choosing the clients that you work with. In this video, I'll be talking about 6 types of clients to avoid or to be careful about, and hopefully that can help you avoid ruining your career or your agency just because you've chosen the wrong client. So the first one is actually the most obvious one, which is clients that have low budgets and high expectations. First and foremost, there is nothing wrong with having a low budget, especially if it's a very simple task. So something like a minor edit to a video, a very simple logo, a very short article. These things they can be done with a very small budget, right? But when you pair a low budget with a complex task, something like creating a responsive website, that can lead to issues because it's usually a symptom of other problems that may arise in future. For example, the clients may not want to pay you for any extra work you do, and they may just generally see you as a commodity to be used and would be very underappreciative of the work that you do. Now, there is a subset of this, which is clients that don't even know that they have a low budget, and this is particularly common in clients from third world countries that may not have a lot of disposable income. And this is really not their fault, because most times the amounts they're offering you for your job is probably like 3 to 10 times the minimum wage in their countries. And so to them, they're offering you a lot of money, and so they expect you to deliver the world to them. Well, the easiest way to solve this problem would be to properly communicate and itemize the cost of your work to your clients. Be clear about your hourly rates, be clear about the costs that you would incur to deliver the project, and by doing so, you can manage these types of clients. But if you cannot manage them, then you should avoid them completely. The second type of clients are clients that bring up and obsess over your profile reviews. So firstly, it's either the client is discussing a review they saw on your profile, or they are promising to give you a good review or threatening to give you a bad review. These types of clients are terrible. Okay, so let's explain why these two categories are bad. The first set is the clients that obsess over the reviews on your profile. When a client obsesses over the reviews on your profile, it means that they don't trust you to deliver the work that you're supposed to, or the work that they're about to hire you for. And that's not a good way to start, because then they begin to question everything that you do and begin to see your work as mediocre even when you deliver well. So there is nothing wrong with having a little discussion about your reviews, but it's a different conversation when you have maybe just one negative review out of 50 reviews and the client obsesses over that. Now, the second kinds of clients are those that promise you good reviews. This is bad because it means the client is trying to weaponize the reviews they would leave for you after your work. If a client promises you good reviews, it means they're probably underpaying you, but it also means that if you don't work well, they are likely to retaliate by giving you a negative review. And they won't just give you a negative review if you don't work well, they will give you a negative review if you don't work on their terms, even outside the terms that you set out in the beginning. And so they'll usually promise you good reviews and underpay you, or threaten to give you negative reviews if you don't do as they say. So choosing clients that obsess over reviews in any way, any form or manner, is you getting into an abusive relationship. So the third types of clients to avoid are clients that are experts in their field. I know this is controversial, but I'm just telling you guys based on my experience. When a client is an expert in their field, you may not have to avoid them, but you need to be careful because it very quickly deteriorates into a power struggle, especially when the client is a little bit condescending and tries to let you know from the get-go that they are so good at what they are trying to get you to do, but don't have the time to do it and are just hiring you because they don't have the time. You should be very careful, because if a client is an expert, they are more likely to be inflexible, they are more likely to be hard to work with. They would usually try to control you and everything, especially if they're egotistical. So just be careful and ensure that it's a collaboration and not a master-slave relationship, which is very common when a client is an expert at whatever they're hiring you for. And the reason this matters is if a client is an expert in their field and you let them tell you everything that you should do and you ignore what you know should be done, they will still give you a negative review if they don't get the results that they want, even though they ignored your opinions throughout the collaboration. So you just have to be careful, watch the tone of the client, and ensure that even if they're an expert, they still respect your opinion. So the first types of clients to avoid are those that need you to complete something that someone else has already started. Now, again, just like others, you may not have to avoid these clients entirely, but you should be very careful. Say a client needs you to complete a website, a web development project that someone else has started. There are reasons why the previous person left. There are reasons why the person abandoned the project in the first place, and you should try to find out why before you accept to continue the project from where the person stopped. Because if anything goes wrong, it will be your fault, and the client will give you a negative review or not hire you again or drag you on Twitter. Do you understand? So you should be very careful when continuing something that someone else has done, because you will take liability for anything that goes wrong, even if it was the previous freelancer's fault. So try and find out why the other person left and try and communicate very clearly how you'll be able to complete the project. Now, the fifth type of clients to avoid, those that intentionally set unclear expectations, whether intentionally or non-intentionally. Clients that have unclear expectations are trouble. The main reason is that if you don't have clear expectations, clear timelines, and clear goals, or if you don't have a clear definition of what success would look like, then you end up doing more work that you've bargained for. So the clients will keep on telling you to do reviews, to add this, add that feature, edit that, and you just, at the end of the day, realize that you're doing way more work that you're getting paid to do. So always set very clear expectations. Don't accept one-line explanations of what you're supposed to do unless it's a very simple task. Always be clear on what the expectations are. I like to outline them, and then at the end of the project, I tick each of them and show the clients that I have met expectations. That way, I get paid without having to do extra work that the clients just happen to remember after I submitted the first draft. The last types of clients to avoid are clients that are reporting to multiple people or clients that have many stakeholders. Oh my God. When a client is reporting to like 5 different people or has to get an approval from like 5 different bosses of theirs before approving your work, it's hell, because then you do so many revisions and there'll be so many comments, so many things that need to be adjusted and fixed. It's crazy. So just ensure that when you're working with a client, it's either they have to approve the work or maybe just one other person. Just try to find out who would be responsible for determining if the expectations have been met. If a board of directors have to determine if your work is good, then you may be setting yourself up for 100 revisions. So, I mean, it's fine if the pay is worth it, but in most cases it's not. So just ensure that your client is reporting to as few people as possible, or at best not reporting to anybody. Just ensure that it's your clients who will determine if the work has been successful, in quotes, and ensure they're reporting to as few people as possible. Now, all these things, I seem very passionate about them because I'm speaking from experience. I've gotten into trouble. I've gotten into situations where I had to review one job like 20 something times because the client was reporting to like 5 different people who would then give me an entire Google document of edits, but this is not the time to rant. Anyway, these are 6 types of Upwork clients to avoid or be careful about, and I really hope this video has been helpful, and I'll see you in the next video.